A look inside a first-of-its-kind school here in Massachusetts. So what makes it unique? It's inside a correctional facility, and its students are inmates, men most likely to reoffend who are about to re-enter the outside world. Reducing recidivism is the goal. Tina Martin has more.
Come on, man. You trying to set me up.
Matthew Galoo has a little downtime in the common area, so he's playing cards. He's an inmate at the Boston Pre-Release Center and a student at the School of Re-Entry here.
When I was on the street, I was involved in a negative lifestyle. I had a substance abuse addiction, which led to me, distributing narcotics to provide for the habit. It's expensive. So eventually it led to a 3 to 4 year incarceration.
But then he heard about an opportunity and jumped on it.
They put on this presentation and for the school over here at the Boston Pre-Release.
Inmates like Galoo with low-level felonies are allowed to apply to the school. There are more than 140 inmates at the prison, but the 15 school students are housed in a separate area, resembling a college dorm.
The more closely we could emulate a true academic environment in the traditional sense, the more success programs had. So that was key for us as we started to look at this.
Headmaster Ed McAdams looked at other programs across the country and felt this was the only model that worked.
The academic piece focused on students that needed, and I'm going to use the term students from here on out, students that needed high school equivalency, because statistically they're most likely to reoffend. So what did you just do by doing that?
I just deleted a slide.
Okay.
Students are in class 6 to 8 hours a day, many getting computer certification in programs like Microsoft Word, some even earning college credits. Galoo is already putting his skills to work through a paid internship.
Which is also good because you kind of get to give back to the community. It's something I'm really looking forward to.
Galoo has something else to look forward to, possible parole in August, and he's earned college credits.
So when I get out, I'll finish the associates at 64 credits, transfer to UMass Boston, do 2 more years there, and then I can start law school.
That will be a very long way from where he started. Tina Martin, WGBH News.
I'm joined now by the man who organized this program, Assistant Undersecretary for Reentry, Ben Thompson. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
James Fidler is a student at the School of Reentry, scheduled for release in January. James, good to meet you, too.
Thank you.
Why do this? Is cutting recidivism, which I understand is somewhere in the 40% range, is that the primary goal of this thing?
Well, I think, yes, it is. We're in a country where since 2008, prison populations are down around the country. In Texas, Perry closed 3 prisons. Here we've closed 2. Prison populations are down, but prison costs are up. So one of the things that we're looking at is we have a governor who's a data-driven guy. We have a secretary who's a data-driven guy. If the population is down and costs are up, and recidivism is a real driver of prison costs, then we should be able to look at data to come up with a way to decide whether or not we can reduce prison costs and crime.
And well, it makes sense, Ben, that if you are more prepared to be in the outside world, the likelihood of you committing a crime again is reduced. Is there any evidence that that's so, or is that just common sense?
There's evidence.
One last thing. You were in jail many, many decades ago. When you got out,
several.
Was there any? What did you get when you got out? What kind of reentry preparation did you have when you were a young man?
Well, here's the difference. I had very little preparation, but I had spent 4 years in the military. So those 4 years in the military helped me grow up, but didn't keep me out of jail. The difference is when we look at what keeps people out, we know. See, this is not. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We know the correlation between education and incarceration. We know the correlation between income and the ability to earn a certain income and incarceration. So what we've done with the School of Reentry is we're not saying we're going to reinvent something, but we're going to take the same formula, but we're going to change the dosage.
Got it. James, why'd you sign up for this thing? Or why'd you apply? Because not everybody gets in.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the beginning, about 16 months ago, is when I met Ben Thompson and Ed McMahon and Alan Spencer, basically. They showed up in Shirley Minimum, and they did a presentation of what's going on there, what they're going to do with a pilot program at the School of Reentry in Boston Pre-Release. And right off the beginning, I knew it was going to be different, I tried before at different schools and, in the prison systems, and between budget cuts and no time for school, you have 1 hour classes, and say at Concord Prison, that 1 hour, maybe twice a week.
And this is 4 to 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
Were you skeptical when you agreed to do this?
Yeah.
Were you skeptical this is going to just be more of that other crap, or did you think this was the real deal?
I thought it was the real deal because when I first met them, I kind of like, I felt that, they were sincere. I could see it in them. And, Ed was beautiful. He was, right from the beginning, I trusted him. And,
Well, one of the things I don't understand, is it all about money? That there were 150 applicants for this thing,
Yeah,
and only
absolutely.
25 were accepted?
Right.
Is that because they're limited funds?
Well, yes, because remember, we started this process in 2015. When the governor came in, there was a $23 million deficit within the Department of Corrections. So you can't go to an administration and say, I want to start something new. There's a $23 million deficit. You can't hire correction officers. You can't hire state police. But I want to do a demonstration project for inmates. It doesn't work. So one of the things that we agreed was that, one, we would build a new model, but we would also look at private investment. So one of the things that we're doing now is I've sent out a letter to 118 foundations, mostly in the States, some national, asking to give me some money to help scale this model into year 2 and
Any
year
of them
3.
saying yes?
Not yet, but I'm working on it. I'm hoping that being here tonight's going to help with
I
that.
hope it works too. I love the idea. What have you gotten out of this, James? How are you different than when you started this thing? You're getting out in January,
I already
right?
completed, I get out in January 2018. I already completed my high set. That's a high school equivalency. And I'm already involved in the ASEP program, which is a drug and alcohol counselor program that I'm about 3 courses away from completing. I'll be a drug and alcohol counselor.
And you're in for a drug offense, by the way.
Yes,
so you know
I
what
am.
you're talking about. Yeah.
3.5 years mandatory, So basically, what they brought into the table was basically they got PD Green that comes from different colleges that signed up. They tutor you, which was great. You know what I mean?
So if he succeeds,
Absolutely.
and I don't just mean him,
Yeah.
but I mean if the couple of dozen people like James go out, get jobs, succeed, don't end up back in, are you convinced you can find the money for this? I mean, while I totally support this notion,
Yes.
there's no constituency, it seems to me, for this. The average state rep says, I want to help the person in my neighborhood. I want to build a school. I'm not so sure I want to help James, even though I would argue it's pretty important that they do for their community. Is there a constituency for this?
Well, there is. Several years ago, I was running Strive, which is a workforce development program in Dorchester. I received $1.3 million a year in donations from foundations. And we were working with people that were already in the street, they were in the community, and these were people, some were offenders, some were not ex-offenders. But charities support a lot of different nonprofits in this city. Here's a gentleman that I met 14 months ago. Data suggests, no, in fact, data shows, every dollar I invest in him in education and vocational training, I get $3 to $5 back as a tax-paying citizen. I don't want to spend $60,000 for him to stay in jail because I know what he can do, and he's out here, he's earned his high set, he's got a potential 12 college credits, he's working on getting custody of his kids. Why would I want to spend money to keep him in jail?
Well, I hope you succeed, Ben Thompson.
We will.
And I surely hope you succeed, James. Too.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
People want to find out more about the program. Is there a website or something? Or?
Mass.gov and just pull up Department of Corrections and School of Reentry.
Wonderful. Good to see you both. Good
Thank
luck
you.
to you both.